All right. Welcome to another Fire Engineering Podcast. We are live at FDIC. This is the Training Officer Podcast. I'm your host, Dave McGlynn. Had the show for quite a while now. I typically try to talk about training stuff all over the country, talk to different training officers, instructors, etc. So before we dive into it, I would be remiss to not be a steward to the brand and give a shout out to our sponsors. As you see, we got a whole bunch of good stuff over here. So this podcast is brought to you by Firehouse Subs, the firefighter-founded hot sub chain with a passion for hearty and flavorful food, heartfelt service, and public safety. Ready for your next mission? Firehouse Subs is offering firefighters the opportunity to continue serving after service. Now, as restaurant owners, learn more at www.firehousesubsfranchising.com. All right. So anyway, I am joined by two awesome people that I've gotten to know, people that I've talked to for a couple years now. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm super passionate about training. Name of the show is The Training Officer. So one of the things as we evolve in technology is the learning management system, right? And the practicality behind that. So I'm joined by Amanda and Andy. They are with FET, Fire Engineering Training. So if you guys want, give a quick introduction of yourselves and tell us who you are. I'll start from you and work your way down.
Sure. Yep. Amanda Champion. I'm the Vice President for Fire Engineering Training. I'm also the publisher of our media group. I've been at Clarion now for 4 years, but I've been in the fire and rescue industry for almost 20 years. So it's been a minute.
Dating yourself over there.
That's right. Andy Lynch, Vice President of Sales. Like Amanda, been in the fire service for almost 20 years on the learning management side. Online training is core to me, and been doing it a long time. So I've seen a lot of fire departments bring it as part of the operation, and watched it grow up.
Right. So what you just said is the important thing. So the growth piece of it, the development piece of it. You know, when we first introduced online training, learning management systems, it was like anything. When you first invent something, fire service guys were like, what is this? And then we had to iron out kinks. So as you both know, not just because we're doing the show, like I'm super passionate about the product. I've seen it evolve from its infant stage to where we're going. So I'm really excited about it. So let's talk about the product, right? All right. So how is training on a learning management system evolved over the past 20 years, not just as e-learning or checking the box, because unfortunately we find ourselves having training officers, and this is one of my things that like I have a beef with. It's like even if we're using an LMS, I got a training officer who's going to say, well, we did this, and then he's going to mark all these boxes and say, you know, this person did this training, blah, blah, blah. And a year later we go and we run a report, and you know it shows that these people have this. Where's the quality? How are we back checking this? What does the LMS have to offer other than just being a database, right? So much more in depth for the training officer that they can plan, execute, and track instructor-led training to levels of permissions, users, etc. So just tell us a little bit about the product. Tell us what makes FET different but better.
Oh, where do we start? I think, to your point, it is so much more than checking the box. This industry wants good training. We always say, oh, firefighters don't like online training. We said, nope, firefighters don't like bad online training. Right. So I think the fact that we have this incredible instructor network, right, part of FDIC, part of fire engineering, we've brought that training to the platform. The highest rated quality content now out there. We've got a library of 1,500 courses. We released 459 last year. But it's more than that. It's also modern, right? We've got to meet people where they're at. They're on their phones, this younger generation. We're the first training provider to have a mobile app, so they could take their courses in the app, log their field training in the app, complete checklists in the app for their JPRs. So it has to meet them where they're at now, and the people that we're bringing into the fire service are on their phones, right?
Right. So just what you said there. So that's extremely important. So today's modern age, you know, like oftentimes whenever I write something or teach something, I say, you know, we're the stewards to the community in an ever-evolving world, right? And how do we continue to maintain proficiency and master our craft is obviously through training, right? And in the world that we're living today, everyone is on their phone. I mean, my mother's 76 years old. She's on her phone, you know? So, like, everybody is on their phone, and it's up to us. If we need to get this information out there and we need to maintain relevance and content to make firefighters continue to be great at what they're doing, we have to adapt to
Yep.
the way the world is evolving. So it's extremely important that you guys are doing that. All right. Go ahead, Andy. You got anything
Yeah,
else?
I mean, I was just going to kind of tag on to what Amanda said, and just seeing the development of an LMS and seeing the purpose of online training and where it fits in. It's a supplement. It's a place that you can go use online training to sort of backfill some of those topics that can allow for online training, giving the fire department more time to go and build custom content, custom training, because training can apply to anything. The equipment you use, the softwares that you use, the compliance issues and workplace related safety topics, those can all be done online, out of the box. Used with purpose, so we can supplement and then go build some custom content, agency-specific content, stuff that really keeps you safe, stuff that really keeps you compliant. So the purpose of an LMS at the beginning stages was a list of courses, giving you the ability to check those boxes throughout the year.
Right.
It's then grown into, okay, here's the list of courses, but we also want you to go build custom content, push it out. We want to certify that custom content and make it so it's full in compliance and allow an agency to become the instructor of record. And it evolved into even a records management system where you're tracking physical skills and abilities and all the things that happen in the station life on a given day. So just watching that evolution happen, it all started with that core value of online training, and it still serves a purpose, but it's gotten more sophisticated.
But it has to be easy, right? That was like the number one thing when we were talking to departments before we ever launched this program 3 years ago was it's got to be easy. They don't feel like what's out there is
Right.
easy to use. They're
Firefighter friendly.
Yeah, it's got to be firefighter friendly. It has to be. So that's kind of the standing joke is like I could give you a login and you will go figure it out, right? It's got to be like the iPhone. It's got to be easy to figure out and not have to have. The people will joke that they've got like someone dedicated to their records management system
Sure,
because
yeah.
they don't know how to use it all, right?
yeah.
So we've got to make it easy across all levels of the fire service.
Right, so that's important because just saying that because in our thing, I can tell you that, so like if it's tedious, if it's not user friendly, so in the realm of being the world's problem solvers, firefighters like to break shit. You know what I mean? So so if we have to like sit here and navigate and go through this process and then having to call the helpline, I'm just telling you, that's what would happen, right? You guys already know that. They would just be like, we're not doing this. I don't know why we bought this program. So it's super smart on your guys' end that you already thought of that. It's like, well, hey, like in our experience and in the studies that we've run, the data that we've collected, we want to put out a product that is firefighter friendly, that they're not just going to be on the app or whatever and be like, "Ugh, like I don't even know where I'm supposed to go from here, right? So that's super smart on you to capture that. Now, one of the things that both of you were saying, so you had said about having a bank of like over 1,500 courses, which is great. Sounds like I put you on the spot, go off script, but I want you to elaborate a little bit on that. But I want to just touch on when you said that it's custom. So this is a huge thing for me. So one of the things that I discuss all over whenever I get an opportunity to have like a stage like this is I talk about conducting a needs assessment of your organization. No one can just operate off of the same sheet of required training. There's basics, there's standards, there's things that we all do across the country in the fire service, but each community, each area has its own mission, has its own unique, specialized thing that you perform a special task for, right?
Right.
So if you don't mind, I just want you to kind of touch on that because in an LMS world, the custom piece is extremely important down to the most rural fire department who specializes in wildland fires, right? To the big city department who specializes in high-rise fires. Those are tactics and tasks that we have to be able to tailor our training content and programs to. So if you don't mind elaborating about the custom part.
I mean, true compliance only exists when you deliver your site-specific policies, procedures, protocols, how you do it as a fire department. So when it comes to custom content, that can mean anything.
Right.
That could be policies delivered. That could be communication down from the company officers to the field. That could be training that you captured on the drill ground on your phone. Pop it in there, have your team watch best practices so that you can really truly say, I'm in compliance because I trained our way.
Sure.
Even when you deliver one of the standard courses that you have to do year over year, you still have to add your policy.
Right.
You still have to add your specifics to it to be considered compliant.
Right.
And so we've been advocates for that. Yes, online training is good, but it doesn't complete the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to deliver some of the custom
See, and it's
stuff
fair that
for
you recognize that too, because obviously you're a service provider, but it's a business, okay?
Yep.
So you would be lying to people to say like this is the end all be all. So I'm just going to tell you like sincerely, I appreciate that you're being sincere about that. It's like, hey, listen, like this isn't the end all be all. We want you to use the system because we feel like we're better than everybody else is out there right now, and hopefully,
Yep.
the imitation's the highest form of flattery. Anybody else that comes up with something, they stole it from you, right? Which is great. Let them do it, right? But to recognize that, like, we're going to give you guys this opportunity to capture content. We're going to offer you some content. We're going to give you all the standardization stuff, the regulations, all the regulatory guidance, et cetera. But we want you to go forth and do good things. Like we were talking yesterday, Amanda, I recently wrote something called application versus aptitude. This is an extremely important thing. It's like Chief Rhodes was talking this morning during opening ceremonies. We're swinging things a certain way where we're only focused on one thing, and in the fire service, you can't. We use these, so we have to use this, and then it's applied from what we have here. So it's just important that you recognize that too, like that you're not just trying to pigeonhole people to just like sitting in front of a freaking computer.
Not at all.
Well, and I think the custom part is actually one of those things that sets us apart, because it's not just, it's the course builder, and I'll come back to that in a second, but it's even like their department homepage where they land, whether they're an administrator or just that line firefighter, they can have a custom page that is based on what's a priority for them at their department. So, and the cool part about it is the way the technology works. It takes us, it could take me 30 seconds to 2 minutes to go change something for them.
Yeah.
I don't have to put something into my tech team, right? This platform has been developed in a way that lets us custom it to that department, whether that's the homepage, building their own courses. So the example we gave yesterday, we were with the Metro Chiefs and Officers. We were talking about one of our Metro departments that came on in really July of last year. So we've got 1,500 courses. They've built 325 of their own in that short amount of
awesome.
time.
Yeah.
And they've streamlined things, right? Like our platform doesn't have to, the department doesn't have to mold to our platform. It's so configurable, it lets them run their program the way they're running it today, just in a streamlined fashion and more effective, right? So they were doing something across 3 different systems and having people go to different places. They do everything in our system now within that one custom course by watching a video, then going out and docu-signing a document, dropping back their completed docu-sign, and the instructor just goes to one place and is like, all right, bam, video's done. They filled out their checklist with the person that watched them administer that drug, and then they've also got the completed form. So it's just it just makes them more effective, right? But it's easy to use. I mean, they were jumping into that part of the platform, and I think it was like a month in because they needed to get it done. I'm like, you were already embracing all these different options in here, and we hadn't even trained them on it.
That's exciting because it's like in Backdraft, there's the sign in the background in the kitchen, and it says 200 years of tradition unimpeded by progress, right? So like firefighters, like we want everything to change, but then we hate change, right? Exactly. So it is cool to hear like, I guess that kind of like win story that somebody embraced this and are already using it, and you guys didn't even have to like sit there and hold them by the hand. So I want to just touch on one more thing that you had said, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I told you this is how it's going to go. You should watch, because Mark knows.
You know I watch the podcast.
Yeah, good. I appreciate it. You're my one fan other than my mother. But what do you call it? You had said about, I guess it was the Metro Chiefs, they had created 325 of their own.
Yep.
So one of the questions I would have just for myself is like, do I have access to seeing additional things that other people have created? Obviously within like security realms or whatever, to not like give out specific secrets. But that's important also because like you have 1,500 in the bank. Now I'm trying to build my program, and a similar organization has already been on. I'm like, well, hey, Amanda, can I see some of the custom stuff that they put together for theirs? Because I know we have a similar kind of makeup or department or whatever.
Yeah.
Would we have access to being able to see how, like, what they came up with and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the name of the game, too, is to eventually come up with best practices. Our customer utilization and the ways they're using the program, it's ironclad. It becomes the standard at some point, especially regionally. When you're getting together with your TOs every 30 days anyway, why not share each other's content, share each other's best practice, share each other's effort?
Right.
It's really shared resources so that you guys can kind of leverage each other's work and not reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And so, we're huge believers in obviously gaining permission to do it, but creating a community or a shared environment on the platform so that other people's work can be leveraged as well.
Everything's about networking.
Yeah.
So I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's extremely important. All right, so we were talking about data before, right? You're welcome. So you mentioned data. Does that mean access to the data, what a department's doing with their data, access via APIs, et cetera? So
Let me touch on the concept first. So from a data standpoint, really it's data in, data out, right?
I say data, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you need to sort of realize that it's as important to make a user experience good on the front end so that good
Right.
data is going in.
Right.
And then it's important to make it an easy experience or a comfortable experience to retrieve the data out, right? So we're trying to focus on both sides, where
Yep.
consumption could be on here, recording of training can be on your phone, right out in the drill ground, right out in the field, and then ultimately it's going to go into the reporting mechanism and be realized from the mobile app, right? So for us, it's always about creating that user experience on the front, creating big data,
Yeah.
and then ultimately a comfortable experience on the back using dashboards and big shiny buttons to click on to find the information you need, right?
Sex
so
appeal.
so it's still about the user experience, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about necessarily, hey, what information's in there? That's our
Yeah.
job to make that
Right.
ironclad.
Sure.
Well, and I think we just hear it more and more, Dave. People are like, what can I, you say I own the data, what can I really do with it? And so it depends on how tech savvy and the resources that department has, right? So we're trying to hit it from both angles. We're trying to have, we train firefighters. It's what we do at the show. It's what we do through the magazine, now through online training and through our books division. So that's where we're going to stay focused. That's our core mission. And then we're going to have partners for other things, right? So those other records management systems that are out there, if they want to push the data there, great. We've already put some partnerships in place where that happens seamlessly. Those completions just go over there. That way they can look at their incident data along with their training data, put that up on the dashboard, right? Kind of figure out where their gaps are. But then also the access to the APIs is becoming a much bigger request, right? So we've got a very developed API where if the department's got the resources, they can just go in and grab that directly.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on what the department is capable of, and we're trying to meet them in whatever shape or form that is.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about a couple other things. So what about online training itself, all right? So I already know the answer to this, but we're trying to push the product here. So like what makes, so I'll actually answer this and then I'm going to ask the question. So just because anybody that follows me knows this is how I talk. All right, so I don't get paid to say this. I align myself with fire engineering and its entire brand, right? I do that for a multitude of reasons, but because I've been doing this for 24 years, I'm super passionate about training, and I feel like the fire engineering outfit does a better job training firefighters in this country than anybody. And I'm sorry if you're watching it and you're upset that I said that, but I challenge you to have a debate with me on it because I'll win. So truly, FDIC is enormous, okay? It's the Comic-Con of the fire service for a reason. We train everybody. We've been doing this for 100 years, right? Yep. And we do it better than anybody. We find the cadre of the best people ever. It is a vetted process, okay? It is exclusive for a reason because we want you to have the best SME, subject matter expert, to deliver that content. So now we're in the online realm. We're in the LMS realm, okay? Fire engineering has this background, which is a vetted company that goes out there and trains the fire service better than anybody. So the question, how is fire engineering training different than other regular LMSs or any of the online stuff that's out there?
I think the first answer is who's helping us put the training out there, right? It is right there in the course description. It is searchable. And to your point, they are some of the best, absolute best at what they've done. So we've leveraged that existing infrastructure with the instructors. So I think the other thing is, right, people are drawing straws to come to FDIC from their department. I mean, they're hoping that they get picked to come here. So we spent, our team got in last week. They were actually filming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here with some of those instructors to bring training, to bring the key takeaways. We're filming again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, to bring that training and some of those key messages that you won't get anywhere else through fire engineering training.
Right.
And it is about, I'm a big believer, this is a message I've said before, like the 1 hour CEU is going away at some point. Like it's, it's kind of outdated. We're going to see things hopefully move to more competency based, et cetera. But again, our younger generation does not want to sit at the computer and
They
do
don't
their
wanna
one.
click
They
a
don't want
mouse.
to.
Right.
Yeah, they don't
Nobody
want to just
wants
be
to do
clicking,
that.
right?
Right.
So, so I think we've got all that, right? On the training end of things, why we're different is we certainly have all those compliance required courses. But then it's also about that short training, right? Something they can use at a stand-up. They just had an incident yesterday. We've got this large library of 1, 2, 5, 10-minute videos or things that they can take that immediately relates to what they saw yesterday, so they can drive a key concept home and not have to waste an hour doing it, right? And support that, and then they get the training credit for that, and that goes to ISO. They get documented. I think it's just again about making it really easy and for them to find refreshed new content. That's the biggest complaint. People have been taking the same classes in these other platforms for 10, 15 years. It's the same thing.
Right.
I mean, and you said it, FDIC. So we're going to take the video we took this year and we're going to put it into next year's classes. So our refresh is always going to include some of the B-roll that we get here. So, I mean, there's no other place that can do that and have access to that. And I think that's the most impressive part to me is bringing that FDIC brand together with a tech platform, allowing that instructor network to be realized all year long. It's not just at FDIC. It's now I can bring FDIC to you, for those that didn't get to attend, and maybe encourage them to attend next year,
Right?
So they get to see, what we're doing.
I'm on the board. So we certainly want you to attend next year. So find the means if you can, right? No, but in all seriousness, though, like I'm not stupid. It's not easy to come here. There's challenges with personal life, with profession, and then just how much it costs, and rightfully so. It is what it is, right? So it's an investment, both on your time, your the taxing from being away from family or other obligations, and then the cost, right? The fact that not taken away from the LMS, because that's extremely important, but just that, okay? Like, FDIC is enormous. 36,000 people come to this. And the fact is not everybody is able to come, like you said. So not only are you doing LMS and capturing data, and doing training reports and building training content and their programs off of what their mission needs are, but you're also offering the thing that they're not able to always attend. So like even if your department is able to send one person, right, and they can afford that, well, by signing up for FET, not only do you get all the other awesome stuff that aligns you with having a properly tracked training program, but you also get content that the entire department now is able to sit there and listen to Mike Champo talk about scrubbing buildings with his tower ladders. You know what I mean? Like that's extremely important because no one else is doing that, like you said. Yeah. If they're an LMS provider, they're just an LMS, and I'm not knocking it, but it's just a fact. You know what I mean? Like they're just like just you guys create a training report and we'll backtrack it for you. Like I could do that on an Excel sheet if I wanted to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's more to it than that, and I think that that's really important. That like I feel like there was a lot of time and thought into how this was going to come out, and I also like that it's been around for a couple years because we started it with Fire Academy. So like just to see its growth, to see like that you guys weren't like overly advantageous to be like, here's this great brand new product, everybody has to buy it. It's like, no, we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, so that we're the standard, and that everybody else just is like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? Like how'd you do that?
It's happening.
It's awesome.
Like we talked about at the beginning, we've spent 20 years studying LMS and the fire service. Amanda and I both, with various companies along the way, and we've taken best practices from all of them and really tried to be meticulous about putting them into the FET solution. So that's a big part of it for me is we did take our time and we filled in all those gaps that we saw over the course of 20 years. And tried to get something that's like I keep referring to ironclad, because the one thing that was missing from our LMSs was good certified instruction. The content itself was always stale. It always kind of missed the mark a little bit.
Right.
We have a giant luxury to have this event, and then obviously our instructor network. So
no, I totally agree with that.
I think the other thing too is it's got to be actionable, right? So like we've made that really, and we kind of talk about that a lot, right? Is so they had to make it easy, but it had to be actionable. So we did. I mean, it's constantly being enhanced. This platform got 40 new features or updates in the last year. 40. That's a lot, right?
It's
in addition
awesome.
to 459 new courses. So, and that was department-oriented feedback, right? They were like, hey, we love this. We want it to do that. We're like, great, we'll go build it, right?
Right.
Like, we are investing in making this what the fire service wants. My standing joke is I can make a salary off of fire departments asking me to help with succession planning, because they're like, great, I took the training, but now what, right?
Yeah.
It is about that career development. So one of the things that the platform does is it also tracks skill development. So I took a class on leadership, but I actually built 5 different skills over the course of taking that. So you can actually set someone's skill level across 50 different skills in the platform, and you start to see who your future leaders are in the program because of what they're taking. And the platform has AI in it, right? So it's actually serving up content recommendations to them because it sees what skills they're trying to build.
Oh, cool.
So it's taking that guesswork, and we got a lot of departments that are one man or woman training officers, right? Trying to just do the job plus run the training program, and they're just trying to get everybody to stay certified.
Right.
But if the platform can be smart and tell you, okay, so you're looking for this type of class, well, here are 5 others that also meet that same or similar need. Oh, and by the way, because you're tracking these skills, you should start taking some of this content. It helps the department identify those future leaders and identify some training gaps, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's extremely important also because just as a training officer, like there's no single skill. Everything is webbed, right? So like everything in the fire service has some kind of 6 degrees of separation, right? So like everything is connected somehow to the last thing you just did. So like, it's like streaming services, but this is in a good way. I'm saying like it's super smart that you're able to do that because, and I'm not knocking firemen. I'm a firefighter. Like I got it. It's just, we're lazy in a certain, to a certain extent. And like, I'm going to put out a thing. I say, all right, everybody's got to go on FET. I want everybody to go to this class or whatever it is. Here's the training content, et cetera. And then like they just sit through it, even if it was great, and then like that, then they'll just log off. But it's like, you also might like, but like,
Exactly.
but
Gets
that's
me
great
every time
because-
on Amazon,
Right. Right. Yeah. No, but like that's extremely important because like it's like Pinterest. Like my wife is nuts about Pinterest. So she'll get lost on there. But like that's what I want my firefighters do. Obviously, I don't want the end all be all of them be just navigating a computer.
Yeah.
But I do want them to get lost on there. I want them to be on their phone or whatever and like, just sat through a whole number of different quick lectures or whatever, reviewed something, whatever it is, because it just kept popping up. The system just kept feeding them like, hey, check this out, blah, blah, blah. And I think that, I often joke, and I'm not going to get graphic, it's just like, firefighters, even when they're going to the bathroom, will pull out their phone and they'll read a fire engineering article or something like that, right? And they have a reaction to it. And that's because we're training ourselves. That's literal, like you're training while you're doing that. So it's just really important that like the system is able to kind of keep people going. You know what I mean? Keep them like pulling more and more from them or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so you mentioned the ability to track instructor-led training earlier. I think you did. So what types of modern tools, features should a department be looking for in an LMS? Kind of talked about some of that.
Again,
but.
where do we start?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about the mobile app. I just think that's so important. And that's kind of where that instructor-led training piece comes in because we rolled that out in our app last year. So we had a really great feature where you could document training that's happening in the field, and we completely mobile optimized it to put it in the app. And we literally is a hockey stick with how much training started getting recorded because we just made it easy, right? And you think about how much training we know is happening at the department every day, right? Every time someone's on shift, but it just doesn't get documented or doesn't get documented well. So it's like, well, all right, how do we make that easy? So on the instructor-led training piece, it can actually be 2 things in our system. It can be just documenting that daily activity or having that lieutenant or captain with managerial permission say, hey, here's who was on shift, here's what we did, let's knock that out. Yeah, it was good for ISO, or maybe it was EMS or OSHA. But also it is the ability to actually build and schedule and coordinate the instructor-led training. So again, maybe for a smaller department, not as big of an issue, but as you get bigger, right, you've got a lot more people to coordinate. So it just makes it really easy to actually put that out, have people sign up if they need to, know if they need to bring more instructors, more equipment, maybe they need to run the class more, et cetera. It just makes it really actionable for that training officer and those instructors to see, what does that schedule look like? We've got people signed up to attend and really just execute and making sure that the training is happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the theory, bring it to them, right? Take it to the field. I mean,
Right.
that walk back to their desk is just far enough where they forget to document their training.
I don't
Right?
disagree.
So we're gonna put it right in their face, right out
Yeah.
on the drill ground, and you're just gonna maximize.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're collecting data as you're taking action, and then there's an advanced piece of that where through video and through recording different drills, various activities, you can start to use it as game film.
Yeah.
And you can start to really
love
kind of
that.
learn from their own experiences, their
that.
own performance, and you can do it all right on a mobile app. And
Right.
so like we're really focused in and around bringing it out to the field, but having a purpose out in the field too. So a lot of people are taking video, uploading that video as part of the record, and then ultimately somebody can learn from their performance.
Sure. All right, so completely off script, I'm going to ask you this because this is extremely important, okay? So, like, why I wrote my book, why I write what I write, why I teach the class I teach is because, with the utmost respect to the department I had worked for, when I got promoted to being the training chief, they literally were like, "You're the training officer. Figure it out," right? So it took a lot of networking and months of going into other LMSs and RMSs and truly navigating and like literally just like becoming like, you know, an analytics person and
Savant. At data.
yeah, you know, stuff that I never thought that I would like be into as a firefighter, right? So kind of on the spot, but I need to ask this and then we'll wrap up because I want anybody that's viewing this, I obviously want them to buy the product because I'm passionate about the product. What if I'm a new training officer? And unfortunately, in the fire service, we find ourselves in a realm where certification outweighs capability. And we're trying to change that, but it happens. We still live in that world. And I get promoted into a training officer position, and I do not know where to start to develop my training program. So other than capturing training reports, can FET help me design a functioning, mission applicable training program that I am able to be a success as the lead training officer and running this information?
Yeah, and do you mind if I jump in on that?
No, please.
Only because I think it's kind of a tenet of what we do. I used to say people would buy on price. People buy based on service today.
Sure.
They want good service
Right.
today, and that is what we're bringing them because they have to feel like if they're gonna call, right? Well, first of all, if they buy, they want to know that someone's there to support them. But then if they call, that phone is gonna get picked up and they're gonna get walked through, right? So I think we're really hung up on that point because, again, you kind of know what else is out there right now, and there's a lot of complaints about bad service just in general. And that is one of the tenets of fire engineering training is providing not only excellent training, but excellent service on the product. So, and I think that to use it, it's like not only just having that dedicated person that they can call, but it's also just making it easy. So like if someone wants to go watch a quick 1-minute video on how to do something, it's right there on the platform for them, and then they can go and they can actually go do that thing in the system they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But it is about leveraging what else is created, right? I mean, those folks that are on our service side are working with hundreds of departments, and they know how they're running their training program, and it's immediately applicable, right? So they're not starting from zero. We've got a lot to lean on from our own program, but then also others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well said.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Yeah, because I mean we're only as good as we're willing to service our product, and we know
Right,
that. I mean,
right.
as good as we make this, as user friendly as we make it, we're still training firefighters. This is not their favorite thing in the world. Going on the computer, we have to be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
Build out some examples. Fish, teach them how to fish. That type of mentality, right?
Right.
And so. We're constantly on the phone. We're trying to create an environment where we call the customer before they call us.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
That's
like that.
Rare to see.
I like that. So, I guess just to wrap up, tell anyone that would be viewing this, anybody listening. So, how should they reach out to you guys to get
Yeah.
this brought to them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're at booth 2235. So we've got 8 demo stations. We'll be running any kind of questions that someone wants to go through. We pull the product up. We've also got an asset management inventory tracker too that we're showing because, of course, products you're using got to train on, right? So there's a nice tie in there to training, but that's through a partnership. Also, fireengineeringtraining.com. We've got a user session in room 130 tomorrow, Thursday, at FDIC. So if you're here, you want to learn more.
What time is that?
That's at noon.
Okay.
Right, yep. And look, lunch is a hard thing to get at FDIC.
Sure.
You know how those food courts, they fill up, right? And the restaurants. So lunch is on us, room 130. We're going to be talking about some of the new things that we've got rolled out, but we actually have a few departments with us that are going to be showing what they've built in the platform, because again, got to show and tell. It's applicable what they're doing at one department to another. So we're going to be featuring a couple of the different parts of the platform and have those departments with us talking about what they've built and why it works for them.
Yeah.
So
Oh, awesome.
It's great.
You got anything else?
I don't think so. I'm good.
He said, I don't think so. Oh,
he's
that's
always got something.
Right,
else,
right.
you know,
That's
like-
all I was wondering, yeah.
We're handing out cigars,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah,
Come
yeah,
see us,
we're
right?
handing out
That's what I
cigars,
got.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, so
But
seriously,
thanks
thank
for the
you.
opportunity. I appreciate
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
Dave.
that was really nice.
No,
Good to talk to you.
we'll continue this when we do the regular show. Also, I'll have both of you on. But no, I just I didn't. I reached out to you. Like I don't believe in something, and I won't. And I had to read the friggin' thing before. I didn't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like if I'm forced to have to advocate for something. I instantly get like curious, and I will try to do my research to find out if I'm like being duped, because I don't like to advocate for sponsor for something. You know what I mean? So like obviously, like anybody that knows me, I don't know which camera to look at. There's a bunch of cameras here, so I'm looking at both of them. There you go, you right there, that guy in the middle. So anybody that knows me, you know by now, I'm a very filterless person. So if I'm advocating for this, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant, I feel like that should say something, right? I'm obviously intimately involved with the training world. I'm very passionate about training. And I'm always cognizant of fugazis out there that are trying to like just make money. This is not a scheme. I very much believe in the product. I think that it's going to be great. I think that, as Donald Trump would say, it's going to be huge. We're going to do great things. No, seriously, I am. I'm a huge supporter of it. I think we're only going to get better from here, right? A lot of us struggle in the training world and in the instructor world on finding good content, relevant content, and then, like you said before, getting after our people to track and capture this training.
Yep.
Capturing your training and reporting your training is just as equally important as doing the training. Because if you didn't capture it, it didn't happen, right? So, no, it's great stuff that you guys are doing. I'm excited to see the continued growth of it.
We're just getting started, right? We're only a couple years in. Look
Right.
what we've done. We've got so much more coming, even just this year.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Thanks for the
Appreciate
opportunity.
it.
No,
Thank you
thank you
again.
guys,
Yeah.
seriously. And look them up, fireengineeringtraining.com. And this is Dave McGlynn with the training officer live at FDIC. Thanks. Be safe.